Hello and welcome back to All Elite Spotlight. I'm your host, TNT, and today we will be reviewing the latest episode of AEW Dynamite, and this episode did not disappoint in the least. So it shaped up to be almost pay-per-view quality level matches and happenings, goings-ons, however you want to frame it, but hell of a night. Definitely packed in a lot of good action and some great storytelling as well. And we started the night off with a bang, as Kenny Omega would say himself. No pun intended. We start the night off hot. Opening match is the singles match. Number one contender versus the EVP title. Kenny Omega, going up against Swerve Strickland. And this is how we started the night. And welcome back, Taz. He is back on commentary. Always good to have Taz back. It's been quite some time. Definitely was good to hear his voice and his color commentating back on the show. He was missed. I think that would be almost universal. At least I would hope so with the AEW fan base. But enough of that. So the night started off with that big fight feel from Get. You could just feel the electricity in the building. This was taking place in Minneapolis, and the crowd was hot for this match, and really the whole show throughout, with some very specific chants. I'm sure you know what those had to entail with, particularly in the main event. But for this match, you could just tell everybody was on the edge of their seats, standing throughout. I mean, it was exactly how you would want to start a big night, pay-per-view level match, and did not disappoint again. So from the start, it was just a dominant performance in the very beginning from Swerve Strickland. He really came at Kenny strong. I was thinking, oh man, is this going to be one of those type matches where Kenny's going to be fighting from the bottom the whole time? But no. Kenny definitely came back strong throughout the match. A good mix of back and forth throughout. So it wasn't one of those matches where Kenny's being targeted in the abdominal section. You know, he's grabbing his midsection the whole time and having to sell that old injury. So that was good that this was not the case. It was just really one of Kenny Omega's best showings since coming back from his injury, the diverticulitis. And I have to say, hands down, this was his best match since then. And Swerve Strickland, you know, he's at the top of his game right now. And the both of them together, I'll say, I preferred this match to the first one, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So not a knock against their first match. This one was just even more competitive, more evenly matched. And like I said, Kenny Omega just seemed to be like really firing on all cylinders in this one. We did have a moment where Swerve Strickland was being his dastardly heel self now and did grab Audrey to escape a Snapdragon out on the apron, and from there went ahead and utilized a low blow on Kenny to shift momentum at that time. Other than that, I don't think there was any outward or like any overdone like cheating on Swerve's behalf. Yeah, I can't recall anything. If you folks do, please throw that in the comments. But I think that was the only instance of overt cheating. Swerve Strickland did end up hitting a house call out of nowhere towards the end of the match. Then as Kenny Omega's draped over the second rope with his upper body hanging over the apron, Swerve goes to the top, hits him with a Swerve stomp to the outside apron area. That gets Kenny back into rebounding into the ring on the mat there. Swerve goes for a second Swerve stomp, hits it. Is it over? Nope. 2 counts. Big kick out to get out of that pinning predicament. We follow up with Kenny firing up. You know, he's not just going to take a beating like he did towards the end of the last match. He has some more fire this time. Fires back, hits a few V-triggers, ends up getting countered towards the end there from a second attempt of a one-winged angel and gets hit with the vertebraker. But 1-2 kick out. Another close 2 count. Swerve's getting a little frustrated, misses a house call, eats a running knee, then eats a V-trigger, one-winged angel, 1, 2, 3. You have a new number 1 contender for MJF's AEW World Heavyweight title. Kenny Omega retains his EVP title, and there you have it. I had picked Swerve as being the victor for this match, winning back-to-back against Kenny Omega just because he's been on such a run. But here we have it, and I'm not upset that I was wrong on my pick because I'm a huge Kenny Omega fan, and it's good to see him getting back to the top. Time will tell if he will indeed make good on this run and get the title. More on that later in the show, but I definitely give this match of the night for sure. They came out swinging, went about a good 30 minutes of the show, so basically the first quarter of the show. Solid match. They had a 60-minute time limit. Obviously didn't need it, but the match was great from start to finish, and we'll see what happens next for Swerve, because now, he was talking about getting all this power, and now he's without everything. He gambled and he lost. So where he could have been just set with having that title shot at Dynasty against MJF, now he has nothing. And as dangerous as he has been in the past, how dangerous is he going to be now? And will there be some fallout with maybe even Prince Nana? Who knows? But I'm definitely interested in that side of the story as well, because throughout the night we heard from just about everybody else. No other mention from Swerve Strickland. And as you will see as we go through this review, many opportunities to hear from Kenny as the night went on. So from that match, we go to a video package just highlighting Darby Allin's history in AEW, including some of his great run with Sting. It was good to relive some of those moments. Darby's just had such a great run in AEW, and that partnership with Sting definitely stands out. So, yeah, it was good to see it relive some good memories, and hopefully we'll see what he does if he gets to actually get a title shot for the World Heavyweight title in the future. After the Darby video package, we have a backstage promo with Will Ospreay, and he's basically challenging Pac at Winnipeg, which is the site for next week's Dynamite, and that was made official, so it'll be Pac against Will Ospreay next week at Dynamite, and he also challenged Moxley to a match at Dynasty, and spoiler alert, Mox had no problem accepting that. But before we go into that acceptance, out come the Death Riders, Daniel Garcia, Moxley, and Shafir for a mixed trios tag match. And they will have Wheeler Yuta in their corner, and they're going up against Skyflight. So the team of Top Flight, Darius and Dante Martin, and new recruit Zeta Steel, and they have Christopher Daniels, of course, in their corner. So just a quick fun match, some interesting action taking place between the intergender combatants here. So early domination by the Death Riders. Skyflight does get a couple fun little comeback moves and moments. The commentary did mention that Minneapolis is home ground for the Top Flight team. So Darius and Dante Martin. Shafir did get involved and ended up eating a blind enziguri kick from Dante Martin when she tried to prevent his hot tag. Commentary covered it up by saying that, hey, Dante didn't see that it was her and probably thought that it was Mox, which, yes, for storytelling purposes, definitely works. And Zeta Steel got a boot to Daniel Garcia's face where she hit a tornado DDT on Shafir in the Death Riders corner. Let's see what else happened. Yuta grabbed Zeta's boot when Zeta was running to the ropes one time and ended up eating a suicide dive from her to the outside of the ring when he kept trying to get involved. But in the end, as I'm sure we all know, of course, the Death Rider were going to come out victorious, and most certainly did when the Dragon Tamer was put on Darius by Daniel Garcia, who at the same time ended up eating a stomp from Mox, and Garcia puts the pin onto Darius. 1, 2, 3. Match over, and we get to Mox responding to Will Ospreay's challenge. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, Jon Moxley eagerly accepts and warns Will Ospreay that, hey, don't let your mouth get you into trouble. So we'll see where that veiled threat or not so veiled threat will lead us to in the coming weeks as we head into Dynamite. I'm sure the build-up is going to be crazy, and I'm sure that Will Ospreay versus Pac match is going to be insane as well. Hopefully, for the sake of Will Ospreay, he doesn't push it too hard as he's just coming back. I do want to see him have a nice long career, and him and Pac, I'm sure, are going to go hard, but we'll see. It'll be fun and entertaining, and hopefully they'll be safe as well. From there, we have a backstage promo with the Bucks. They're just doing a quick recap of what they went through with FTR, saying that basically they're going to lick their wounds, come back harder. They already did have a successful match about a week ago, and they're going to fight their way back to the top and go for that 4th title run in the future. So they'll beat whoever they have to get to it, and they don't mind putting in the work. From there, we have a quick singles match. We have Speedball Mike Bailey versus the Don Callis family member Rocky Romero. So apparently Romero wants payback for the injury that Josh Alexander suffered at the hands of the AEW Trios champions, Speedball, Kevin Knight, and Mystico, when they went against Josh Alexander, Takeshita, and El Clone. So unfortunately, Josh Alexander tried to counter Speedball's double knees by raising his own knees, and apparently had a bad knee and has had one for the past 6 years, according to him. And at that moment, that it took the last bit of damage it could take, and he'll be out for an undisclosed amount of time as of right now. And so we'll see. Hopefully he'll have a speedy recovery. It wasn't anything dangerous done, or wasn't anything dangerous or reckless done. It was just an unfortunate happening. But anyway, Romero wanted to pay back for that injury, was the purpose of this match, and ended up being a quick, maybe 5-minute at the most match. Mike Bailey hit his double knees for the win, and we move on. Another good singles win for Mike Bailey. We're really kind of building up his singles match win record, and we'll see where that leads, because he has mentioned that he wants to be great, like another Kenny Omega in his words as well. And hey, I really like Speed. He is definitely more than capable in the ring. The fans love him as well, so I hope he can go as far as he can go, man. I hope he can take it all the way to the top. I'll be rooting for him. Let me know, what do you guys think about Speedball? I mean, I'm sure we all love him, but do you see him as a possible future world heavyweight champion? That's the big one right there. He'd have to be in some serious heavyweight contention, of course, with the likes of MJF and Kenny Omega, Swerve, on and on. But let's be honest, he's shown that he can hang. He just had a huge win against Mark Davis, and I know he's not a heavyweight title contender, but he is a massive heavyweight and an excellent wrestler. And to beat him, at Speedball's size convincingly, well, come on. And we've seen what he does against Kyle Fletcher. He has beaten Kyle Fletcher. I think it's definitely doable, and I'll be rooting for him. From there, we have a video package highlighting the MJF Hangman Adam Page match at Revolution, and that's going to lead us into MJF and his little victory speech that he has in the ring. His in-ring promo, MJF returning to Dynamite, and he does exactly what we would expect him to do after a huge win like that he had at Revolution against his arch nemesis, Hangman. So basically, he's there saying he is the man who hanged the Hangman, of course, that this was the easiest match in his career. Some might say, in his words, easy dub. Yeah, because it really was. But no, that's classic MJF, and it's what we would all expect, right? So he just rubs it in, says that Hangman will never, ever, like 20 million times saying the word ever, challenge for the world title again or be world champion ever again. And, goes into his catchphrases, and out comes Kenny Omega, the new number one contender for that Triple B, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. He basically, Kenny that is, basically said that he can admit that when he did lose to MJF in the past, he was about 60 to 80% of who he is. And now he really feels that he's back to being his true self. And, that his battles with Swerve, including that first match loss, has told him, helped to guide him to where he needs to be. And he's not going to be falling for any of JF's usual hijinks. And says that he's better than MJF, that he knows it, the fans know it, and he thinks MJF knows it too. So basically, from there, he challenges MJF to a match at Dynasty for the title. MJF accepts, and no physicality, just straight up challenge and accept, and we're off to the races. We'll see what happens. We do get another backstage promo later in the night with Kenny Omega, but we'll get to that in a bit. Or we'll just hit it now. Kenny Omega has a backstage interview. He's notified by Renee Paquette that they will have a contract signing in next week's Dynamite. Of course, MJF has a stipulation there can be no physicality. Kenny Omega doesn't care. That's fine. He's ready. He feels like he's in the right place, right frame of mind, and that now is his time. Do we agree that now is his time? Is Kenny going to unseat MJF in this upcoming pay-per-view? 3 weeks away about, after Hangman Adam Page just lost so brutally. I mean, I just don't know. It would be something if MJF were to now lose in this next match up here and drop the title after Hangman gets denied and loses any future opportunity of being World Heavyweight Champion, unless, of course, there's some backdoor way and Kenny wins, and then he lets his old buddy Hangman have a title match down the line. I don't know. I don't think that will be too satisfying. It will definitely besmirch Hangman's reputation if he were to do that, but maybe that'll be part of the story. We'll see. Definitely intriguing. So I'm all for however they want to do it, as long as the storytelling is done correctly, and they've earned my faith and confidence. So we'll see how it goes. A lot of intriguing ways this can go. Let me know what you all think so far. Obviously, our minds can change. There's time between now and Dynasty. Right now, I'm kind of actually leaning towards Kenny Omega getting that title, but we'll see. A lot of time between here and now. You haven't heard from Hangman Adam Page yet or seen him anywhere, and there's a ton of people with their eyes on that world title. So we'll see. And MJF is not going to let that thing go easily. To end that backstage promo with Kenny, Mike Bailey does come out, says that he's really looked up to Kenny. He thinks Kenny's going to win. He hopes he does. And, brings up how they battled at last Dynasty, and that when Kenny Omega wins the title, he would like to receive a shot. And Kenny is happy to oblige, says he'll be the first one he thinks of. They shake hands, and in a little funny moment, as the camera's going off, Kenny's like, "You can let go," and Speedball's like, "I don't want to." That was kind of funny. But anyway, back to another backstage promo. We had Cage and Cope talking about FTR. Cage was bringing the funny, listing all of FTR's egregious crimes, including the spike pile driver placed on Beth, but that only being topped by something even worse, and that was Cage himself being spike pile drived, and that was worse. And then he walked off. And then Copeland bringing the Fury, just talking about his history with FTR since 2009, helping them get into the business, feeding them, housing them, kids going to school together, all that stuff. And, it's personal. So we go from there to FTR coming out with Stoke, a healed Stoke, no longer needing the wheelchair. And, they come out and they want to have their response. And basically they're saying, hey, we dumped dead weight and look at us now. We're 3-time champions, the current tag champions. And that it's not 2009 anymore. They don't need Adam or his family, that they're each other's family right now, and that Cage and Cope are basically just a nostalgia act right now, and they know it. Do you all agree? I mean, technically, they may appear to be a nostalgia act, but last we saw, they both can still go, both Copeland and Cage. So, I mean, no knock on the Hardys. Huge Hardys fan, but I would say the Hardys, who are current champions over in TNA, I don't think they can go to the level that Cage and Cope can. But we'll see. It's been a few months, but as long as nothing's changed, I would imagine high level action from that duo. And I'm sure we will get to see it in the very near future. Dynasty, to be exact. And I'm sure we'll get some in-ring action at some point a little before that. From there, as FTR is still out there, Orange Cassidy's music come out. It's time for the conglomeration. Cassidy and Roderick Strong versus the Dogs, David Finlay and Clark Connors. Now, as FTR is leaving, Stokely bumps into Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy does his slot style attempt at a push. FTR gets upset and shoves Orange Cassidy. Roderick Strong comes in, gets in the mix. Ref ends up breaking it up. Entrance resumes, and we have our match. Good tag team match. Nothing too spectacular other than, a good wrestling match. And it was just good to see. Every time I watch Orange Cassidy nowadays, I just go back to when he was the international champion on that great run where he was defending his title constantly. And I just wonder if he's ever going to get another opportunity in the near future to be featured like that again, or if he will just, for the foreseeable future be doing the conglomeration thing, which is fine. He still puts on great matches, is involved in, storylines and furthering his career and other wrestlers' careers as well. He's just not highlighted the way he was at that moment. And he had such an amazing year there, really breakout year. I thought contender for Wrestler of the Year, certainly. So it'll be interesting to see in the future where his career goes. But back to the match, as I did predict in the preview video that I put out a couple days ago, the Dogs ended up with the victory. I mean, they hadn't been winning recently. They lost their Revolution match, and this was an opportunity for them to get a notch in the win column, and they did, hitting the finisher called the full clip on Orange Cassidy and getting the 3 count there. So the Dogs move on with a victory. We'll see if they leave Cassidy alone now and where exactly they go from here. And if there'll be a Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, FTR match in the future here. Okay. And from there, we have a couple backstage promos. We have the new women's tag team champions, the Divine Dominion. Finally, the Megasis as champion. Long time coming. Her and her partner, Lena Cross, making up Divine Dominion. They are accepting the Babes of Wrath's challenge for the women's tag team titles, and they will face each other at Collision. The other backstage promo was Kyle Fletcher, basically outlining that he's had 3 successful TNT title defenses, and this is second reign, and that he's actually undefeated in singles competition this year, and nobody else can say that, including Kenny Omega and MJF, and that he also has his eyes on not just being the best TNT champion in history, but he wants that world title as well. At that point, Takeshita does come into the frame. As they have in the past, Kyle Fletcher just wants to make sure that they're good. They're saying nothing will come between them. Hopefully nothing will, because I do like them together. And that Proto Sheta came before Proto Kata, and that nothing is going to come between them, including Okada or any title or anything else. They shake hands, agree, and there we have it. Hopefully that stays true and it's not going to be exactly the opposite. Can't really trust Kyle Fletcher, but I really would like to think we could trust that bond between Fletcher and Takeshita. But who am I kidding? It is Kyle Fletcher. You can't really guess what he's going to do or that he's going to do the right thing. Very Randy Orton in that aspect. From there, we have our part 1 of our double main event. We have the women's world title being defended by Thekla against Mina Shirakawa. And they did bring up an angle that I honestly kind of forgot about, a secret admirer angle with the flowers that were being delivered to Mina. Mina seems to be upset, and they show a shot of that Toni Storm crime scene where she was attacked, and there was a bouquet of flowers there as well. So interesting angle they're trying to weave into this whole who've done it here to Toni Storm. So, the obvious answer was originally, I would have thought, would have been Marina Shafir. And then, of course, maybe Ronda Rousey. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. One would think it would be obvious that it's Ronda Rousey or something along those lines having to do with her. If not her directly, then through someone else. But we shall see. No Sisters of Sin at ringside, and a lot of the early part of this match actually took place outside of it because we had a very serious and violent attacking, just very forceful, not smiling, kidding around Mina Shirakawa. And these two who do have a lot of history in Stardom, I went over that in my preview video as well. And they had really great chemistry. I enjoyed this match a lot, actually, and wouldn't mind seeing them fight again later down the line as well. And Mina did a really solid job in the ring, really convincing challenger for that title throughout that match. And unfortunately for her, it came down to some heel shenanigans. So Thekla takes off her belt. Referee takes it away, and as he's getting rid of it, Thekla introduces a knuckle duster, the all brass knucks, pulls it out of her top. As Mina's trying to hit her with the back suplex, she gets the pow right to the head, 1, 2, 3, and Thekla successfully defends her title. Sisters of Sin come out, celebrate with her. Julia Hart takes the knuckles. And that's what we have. So great title match. And we'll see who Tekla's next challenger will be because she's just knocking them off one by one. From there, we have a backstage promo of the demand. Ricochet, of course, complaining that he wasn't pinned or submitted, but still is without the national title. He did mention Kenny's name, saying, he's just getting a shot, even though Kenny did earn it. But, he brought up Kenny's name, so we'll see if he gets involved in that upcoming contract signing where there's no physicality. MJF does like to pay people money to get rid of people, and we wouldn't be surprised if some sort of shenanigans happen. So from there, we have the main event. We have Rush versus Darby in a no count match. And this match was as brutal as one might expect. Rush is a violent competitor in a regular straight up match, let alone a no count out match where you're going to be brawling outside of the ring for an indiscriminate amount of time. And Darby Allin, we know who Darby Allin is. He's a living weapon. He treats his body without regard. Or maybe that's a bit harsh. He just uses his body as a weapon and has no qualms about doing whatever needs to be done to entertain the crowd, put on a match, and get the victory. So it's exactly what it was. Darby took a brutal beating outside the ring for quite a bit of the match. Definitely the beginning was a few hairy spots where he's just getting tossed, either throwing himself into the barricade with a missed suicide dive or getting tossed around like a rag doll. He did get busted open pretty early, and for the majority of this match, it was just Rush brutalizing him, with, of course, Darby, showing his usual fire and resilience and fighting back, doing stuff like hitting missile drop kicks from the top rope to the outside of the ring on a seated Rush. So just usually hitting his usual violence, out of the box offense. And, Rush is really incredible. The fans were chanting his name as well, too, because, he's such a great wrestler. And a match like this where he really gets to show off that violent side of him, and have it matched at times with Darby's, it was a good matchup, a good combination of styles. And that match didn't disappoint either. Wasn't a dreadfully long match, maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes, let's say, split the difference. And it was really good, very enjoyable, nonstop action. Rush really shined, and, Darby got his spots as well. And in the end, Rush did get cocky a few times, and that's what ended up costing him the match. He did go to hit his horns, mess with the bull. You get the horns finisher, misses it, and got caught up with the jackknife pin. 1, 2, 3. Darby sneaks it out, and he's out on the floor ready to celebrate. His music's playing and everything, but out comes the Don Callis family, specifically Mark Davis, who picks him up with no effort and drops him on his head with a Dunkzilla pile driver onto the floor. That looked absolutely vicious after an already vicious match. And then the rest of the family put the boots to Darby Allin, all except Andrade, who doesn't seem happy about it and is letting Don Callis know about it. Meanwhile, the other members take Darby into the ring, and Lance Archer proceeds to choke slam him. And that's how the night ends. So we'll see what happens with Andrade and the Don Callis family. Andrade wants the world title shot against MJF. He doesn't like that they're doing MJF's bidding, whether it's for money or not. And Darby Allin himself wants MJF. So does Kenny Omega. So does Swerve. Speedball wants the world title as well. So we shall see in the future as these storylines progress and weave together. It was another great night for Dynamite, great night for AEW fans. Let me know what you all thought about this show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Of course, match of the night goes to the opening match, Kenny Omega and Swerve. But so much good stuff here, so much to talk about and look forward to in the future. Collision will feature a World Tag Team title match, Babes of Wrath, and the Divine Dominion, among other things. So that will wrap it up for tonight. Thank you all for watching. If you have subscribed, thank you for doing so. If not, please do subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And until I see you again, take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your day. And I will talk to you soon. Take care.